In quiet neighborhoods, power goes wrong.
Disabled daughter sat strapped into her seat, tapping the window with her fingers, confused, waiting for someone to open the door. And the woman standing 5 feet away? She folded her arms. That's what happens when people don't follow HOA rules. She had no idea who I was. She had no idea I was already on my way. And she had no idea this moment would end her entire life as she knew it. That morning felt ordinary. The sky was clear. The neighborhood was quiet. The HOA banners hung neatly at the entrance, promising safety and community standards. My daughter loved mornings. Because of her condition, routine mattered. Every day we parked near the community center while I went inside to confirm paperwork for her therapy transport. She stayed in the car for less than 2 minutes. I never imagined that would be enough. I had seen her before. Karen. Mid-50s. Perfect hair. Perfect posture. Clipboard like a badge of honor. She didn't smile, she inspected. As I stepped out of the car, she glanced at my daughter, then at the vehicle. "You can't park here," she said. "I'll be right back," I replied calmly. "My daughter can't walk far." Karen's eyes narrowed. Rules are rules. I should have stayed. That thought would haunt me later. Inside the building, I heard shouting. A voice through the glass. My name. I turned. Karen stood beside my car. My car. Her hand was on the door handle. Then she pressed the lock. Click. My heart slammed into my chest. "What are you doing?" I shouted. She looked at me, cold, deliberate. "You left a dependent unattended. That's a violation." Smoke drifted up, barely noticeable. She didn't notice it. I did. "Unlock the car." I screamed. Karen raised her clipboard like a shield. "I'm documenting this for child endangerment." I ran toward her. She stepped back. "Don't touch me." My daughter knocked on the window again. Her eyes searched for mine. I pressed my palms against the glass. "It's okay, sweetheart. Daddy's here." The smoke grew thicker. Still not dramatic. Still not enough for Karen to panic. Someone nearby yelled, "Is that smoke?" Karen glanced briefly at the hood. Probably overheating. I shouted, "Open the car now." She shook her head. "I can't. Until authorities arrive." That's when I knew. This wasn't ignorance. This was power. My phone was already in my hand. I dialed one number. Direct. No dispatcher. No delay. "Commander," the voice answered. "This is me," I said calmly, despite my heart pounding. "I need immediate response." Location sent. Child trapped. Silence. Then, units en route. Karen smirked. "Calling your friends won't help." She had no idea who I was talking to. The smoke darkened. My daughter began to cry, not from pain, but fear. She didn't understand why the door wouldn't open. I tried the handle myself. Locked. Karen stood there, arms crossed. "This is on you," she said. That sentence changed everything. A siren cut through the air. Then another. Karen stiffened. Fire engine. Police cruisers. Fast. Too fast for a normal call. Her smirk faded. She stepped back. "What did you do?" she asked. I didn't answer. I was already moving. Firefighters smashed the window. The sound was beautiful. Glass shattered. Hands reached in. My daughter was lifted out, safe, coughing but alive. I held her. I didn't cry. Not yet. Behind me, Karen screamed. Wait. You can't. An officer grabbed her arm. Ma'am. Step aside. She shouted. I was enforcing HOA policy. The officer's voice went ice cold. You locked a child in a burning vehicle. A senior officer approached me. Commander, he said quietly. Karen's face drained of color. Commander? She looked at me. At my badge. At the radio clipped to my belt. At the firefighters standing at attention. Her clipboard slipped from her hand. Karen's voice shook. Commander. That's not possible. The senior officer didn't look at her. His eyes were on me. Sir, your daughter's been treated. Minor smoke exposure. She's stable. I nodded once. Only then did I turn toward Karen. She was pale now. Clipboard forgotten. Authority gone. The questions begin. Another officer stepped forward. Ma'am, why did you lock the vehicle? Karen swallowed hard. She left a dependent unattended. That's an HOA violation. The firefighter snapped back immediately. You don't lock a child inside a car for any reason. Karen raised her hands defensively. I didn't know it would catch fire. The firefighter's reply was sharp. You didn't check. You didn't care. The excuses fall apart. Karen tried again. I was protecting the child. I finally spoke. You watched smoke come from the hood. She hesitated. I thought it was overheating. I stepped closer. And you still refused to unlock the door. She looked down. The silence was heavy. The evidence no one expected. A firefighter held up a small body camera. It's all recorded. Karen's head snapped up. What? The officer nodded. You argued. You delayed. You refused to unlock the vehicle. Karen's legs nearly gave out. The HOA board arrives. 2 board members rushed in, breathless. There's been a misunderstanding. The senior officer cut them off. No. There's been criminal negligence. The board members froze. This woman does not represent us, one said quickly. Karen turned on them. You backed me. They looked away. The formal statement. I handed my daughter to the paramedic gently and faced the officers. I want a full report, I said. And I want charges filed. Karen cried out. You can't ruin my life over this. I answered calmly. You nearly ended my daughter's. The words she feared. The officer read aloud. Unlawful detention of a minor. Reckless endangerment. Abuse of authority. Each charge hit like a hammer. Karen sobbed. I was just enforcing rules. The officer replied coldly. Rules don't override humanity. The cuffs again. Hands behind her back. Metal closed. The sound echoed louder than the sirens. Neighbors watched, some in shock, some in shame. One whispered, she always went too far. The HOA collapses. The board president tried to speak again. We'll cooperate fully. The officer nodded. You'll do more than that. Emails. Training records. Authority limits. Everything was requested. Immediately. A quiet moment. Later, as the scene cleared, I sat beside my daughter in the ambulance. She held my finger tightly. Safe. Alive. That was all that mattered. Karen spent the night in custody. No clipboard. No authority. No HOA badge to hide behind. By morning, the story was everywhere. A child locked in a car. Smoke. An HOA official refusing to unlock the door. And the father a police commander. The narrative was no longer in her control. Karen sat across from internal affairs investigators. They didn't raise their voices. They didn't threaten. They just asked one question again and again. Who gave you the authority to detain a child? She had no answer. Because the truth was simple. No one did. By noon, charges were filed. Child endangerment. Unlawful restraint of a minor. Criminal negligence. Abuse of position. Her attorney tried to frame it as a misunderstanding. The prosecutor shut that down fast. A misunderstanding doesn't involve refusing to unlock a car while smoke is visible. That was the end of the argument. The HOA board called an emergency meeting. Closed doors. Raised voices. Panic. They tried to claim Karen acted alone. Investigators proved otherwise. Emails surfaced. Training documents. Language encouraging firm enforcement. The board members weren't arrested. But they were exposed. And in court, exposure is almost as powerful. Neighbors came forward. She threatened us before. She said she could call authorities on our kids. She always said rules mattered more than people. Statements stacked up. Patterns formed. This wasn't a one-time lapse. It was a culture problem. Weeks later, we stood in a courtroom. Not as enemies. As truth and consequence. The judge didn't rush. He listened. Then he spoke. No private organization has the authority to detain a child. Ever. The ruling was clear. The HOA was fined heavily. Policies were stripped. Oversight was imposed. Karen lost her position permanently. And her criminal case continued. There was no celebration. No applause. That night, I tucked my daughter into bed. She smiled. She was safe. That was the victory. The HOA removed enforcement powers entirely. Training was mandated. Emergency protocols rewritten. What happened to my daughter would never happen again in that community. That mattered more than punishment. Karen believed power came from rules. She forgot something basic. Rules don't protect children. People do. If you're watching this as a parent, remember. Never assume authority means safety. Never stay silent when something feels wrong. And never underestimate how fast accountability arrives when truth stands firm. Because no title HOA, board member, or otherwise is stronger than the law.